Just give the finals maximum amount of room while still having a cat. Cosmic Sapphire will be the first battleground. Top left, it's MaxPax. Bottom right, it is Reynor. So a ZVP. Yeah. Not what we have in the finals of the Open Cup that often, I tell you. It's usually here Marines, so automatically makes it a TV something, or Clem, so another TV something. MaxPax has made it to the finals multiple times as well, so okay, PvZ something, but, well, basically it boils down to plenty of Terran representation in the finals, a little bit of Protoss representation, not a lot of Zerg representation. Although Lambo was here last week. A lot because the top Zergs don't sign up. So Lambo, Laser, Reynor, Serral. Sign up infrequently. But when Reynor signs up, he does usually make it to the finals. It just, again, usually is one of the Terrans that he's up against. So probably, in this case, we could have anticipated a Clem versus MaxPax. Wait, Clem versus Reynor finals, sorry. But MaxPax 2-0'd Clem. Dispatched him easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's actually kind of surprising. But sometimes that's the way the game goes, especially with the one particular game of theirs. The build orders just didn't really match up, I think. Anywho, now we get a PvZ, which is kind of at the lights. It is so infrequent. Oh, that was really nice. That was really nice of MaxPax, actually. He was mineral microing so that the drones can't stack on top of each other. If you guys haven't heard this before, welcome to the details of StarCraft. If you have, well, I'm going to talk about it anyways. So, yeah, you want to go ahead and stack your workers on the closest mineral patches, which you have to force most of the time. If the probe is mining, the second drone goes, and then doesn't mine from it. So you counter micro, thus requiring some extra efforts. And if you mess up your micro, then that's actually such a score for the Protoss. They feel very, very powerful if they get you to mess up your drone micro. Because messing up their probe micro isn't as devastating, although if they do mess it up and take away a mineral, they can't do the micro harassment anymore. So it's a little embarrassing when that happens, but it's not as impactful because probes, well, they don't completely sacrifice themselves to turn into buildings. It's always one of the reasons that probe scouting and harassment is just A+. Drone, harassment, scouting, not so much. Moving on to the rest of the PvZ, though, so to elaborate on more very typical, very usual things, an attempt to make you guys interested before we get to the real meat and potatoes. It's an Oracle opener. So the Adepts are going to try and do the thing, and the Oracle's going to try and do the thing with the thing, and then it's going to maybe work or maybe not. I would say the real meat and potatoes, the actual interesting parts of the PvZ. Absolutely get to the mid-game, and absolutely with Blink Stalkers. So I'd be disappointed if it was anything but. But with Cosmic Sapphire and MaxPax, I think, embracing the new Blink meta, I do believe that's where we're headed. So 3 Oracles into Twilight Council, or maybe just 2 Oracles, actually. Yeah. The first Oracle is a complete failure. Completely. MaxPax could not wall off with an additional gateway because Cosmic Sapphire lets you wall off with only 2 buildings, so the other one goes in the main. But it is absolutely going to be just a very typical, very safe 2-gate 3rd base expand. It is going to be a 3rd Oracle. So 3rd Oracle and then Twilight Council is usually how it goes. Sometimes, depending on what your goal is, you can get the Twilight Council before the 3rd Oracle, but you still get the 3rd Oracle. Oh, in this case, Oracle, then the Twilight Council. Only 1 extra gas coming down, which is important. So this could mean... Oh, and it gets scouted as well. Well, did it technically get scouted? Hold on. Well, you should have a 2nd gas at this point. So the time the 3rd gas goes down, in this build is also like... I don't know how to put it better. The third gas usually goes down with the fourth gas at the same time, around the time the third gas went down, right? The lack of fourth gas is, I believe, noticeable to Reynor, to top tier Zergs. Which could be two things, actually. Could mean they are dedicating to a more, not exactly fake third base, but more aggression off of a lighter probe count and a lighter gas count. Or it could mean more economy, like mineral economy, and more emphasis on the charge, which will eventually come into play after the blink. But you really do need, if you're gonna go blink stalkers, you need a decent bit of gas. It's not like one of those things where, oh, well, it's a different unit than like a Colossus and a Disruptor, so you don't need as much gas. No, stalkers also do. You build a lot of them. And they do require 50 gas a pop. So it's actually kind of a interesting way of continuing to play out. If he just grabs the 5th and 6th gases, so, okay. So this actually could be deceiving then. This could be Reynor thinking it might be something aggressive, and then it's not. But it doesn't really seem like he's reading into that at all. Or he's reading it correctly. As in, it's not going to be anything intimidating. It is, in fact, going to be, of course, the gas is eventually taken, and then a 4th base taken. A 4th base is a real tell there's something aggressive on the way, but he was already building a lot of non-helpful defensive units. So Lings without upgrade yet, and then drones. So if MaxPax had done something off of 3 bases and only 3 gases, I mean, Reynor could have been in a lot of trouble. But it wasn't the case. So actually going for, pretty late Roach Warnings, didn't really need it. Going for a Spire, which is something that MaxPax really needs to scout. So far, no scouting capabilities aside from the Oracles, and the Oracles very rarely get to the deep edges, pockets of the Zerg base, right? Oh, that was a good one. That was a good bait. A lot of Lings trapped in there. Not gonna have too many repercussions, though. I mean, it kind of sucks. I guess. It doesn't actually mean very much, to be honest. I still applaud it. It's still cool. I didn't really mean very much. MaxPax had to wait for a few more reinforcements, knowing that, of course, eventually this will be unlocked. And eventually those Lings will get us around. He baits him in another one! And now I feel like this is the time where you would go ahead and try and kill those queens, too. But if he doesn't, then again, it's kind of like a moot point. Like, what do these Lings being trapped really mean? Not too much yet. MaxPax's 4 base are up. 75, 76 probes. Charges on the way. +2. Attack. And the Stalkers will be quite feisty. He is going double forge. Didn't see him have the second one. But there it is. But all this aggression on the front lines, it's all happening after Reynor already got to, a good drone count. Clearly has enough to defend, even though I think it could be a little bit troublesome if MaxPax actually pushed the issue. And so there's a lot of what else is going on. And MaxPax should be considering that as well. Like, what else is this guy doing? I don't see a lot of Lings. I don't see any Roaches. So the Observer went pretty deep into the natural to try and get something, but Spore Crawlers were placed, so I think it completely missed. Now it just died, actually. So I was checking around for his scouting, and it completely... Yeah, he was barely not able to see that Spire. Does he have some just kind of guesswork static defense coming down? 1 cannon in the main. Some at the 3rd. Some at the 4th. 3rd and 4th, obviously, more for, like, Ling run-bys. The 1 cannon in the main is not going to hold. Reynor picked up on how much he could get away with not building defensive units, and so his mute account, before it's even revealed, is kind of insane. If he thought there was more of a timing on it, he might have just gone with 8 mutas. But he waited until he's up to a really decent amount, instantly takes out that cannon, of course. A couple of juicy pylons could be taken out to delay those upgrades, and that's, nope, not gonna go for that. Just gonna go for more and more probes. And then here comes the huge Ling swell. Now, the Lings probably aren't as problematic with a Colossus and a shield body overcharge and a couple of force fields, but maybe not. Maybe that isn't enough. Now 2 Colossus is absolutely perfect against mass Lings, but so many probes have gone down, 28 of them. The wall is open in the natural. The Colossus might die to Lings. What a disgrace. Thank goodness. And the mutas continue to wreak havoc on the probe queue line. 37 probes in total killed. A little bit of a run-by from MaxPax is going to try and do something. A little hurrah for these Zealots, which ultimately aren't going to get enough. 19 mutas still live, helping to clear up some of the Zealots. That hatchery was mostly unimportant. Good for larva, not much else. And even the queens are going to survive to help out on any potential counterattack. And that is the rub, right? You kill all the economy, but only after the Protoss is on 4 bases. What have they been able to muster during that time? So that once you back away, they can actually do a counterattack. Sometimes this is actually what kills the Zerg. But I would say that sometimes incorporates more Archons, more AoE, to help out against both the Lings and the Mutas. One Archon coming in way too late to the party. Warp Prism denied the Warp Band that wouldn't have contributed anyways. And that is game. Yeah, GG. I was like, well, MaxPax, 60 supply? Yeah, GG. The lack of scouting really, really, really hurt MaxPax. Not being able to see that spire was a bummer, but I don't know how else to put it. I feel like there should have been more emphasis on it. Or more what if on it. Because even, you know, when you try to take into account what the pro gamers are seeing and what they have to do action-wise, that distracts them from thinking of crucial things, I would still say all signs pointed to something nefarious, right? Like, there was only max, 30 Lings shown with a bunch of queens? And it's not like there was a lot of other aggression. You know, the oracles were quite a big failure. Like, multiple oracles did not do a whole lot. Stasis traps aside, and even that wasn't a whole lot. It's not like you thought, oh, this guy's reeling from some earlier harassment. That's why he has so few. I think that might have just been a little bit of like a warm-up moment, not in the mechanical, like my fingers feel slow sense, but kind of in like your expectations. So a lot of playing StarCraft and getting good at it is kind of knowing what you're going to do next, but then also knowing what to expect from your opponent, a little bit of that insight to what your opponent could be doing. And it feels like that was what was missing. MaxPax gets up to 4 bases without doing very much to Reynor. So usually with a guy like Reynor, that would mean he's up to like 80 drones, 5 bases that could be split. And then you only see Lings, and not that many. It's, I guess it is still tough. You don't know if they're about to build 30 Roaches and Ravagers and, yeah, 20 Hydras are about to pop out, I suppose, as well, but yeah. The only other credit I can give to MaxPax is that you do find it hard to scout with that particular style. You don't have a lot of sentries early on, so there's not a lot of build up with the hallucinations. Get a double hallucination, can't even get one a lot of the times. And your observer is denied by spores very easily. Spore coverage quite large, because even if the spore doesn't shoot at it, spores are almost always accompanied by a queen, so as long as the vision sees it. And then, yeah, again, the oracles don't get back there, so it's understandable why you would miss scouting it. I would have figured that there was a bunch of red lights. There's a bunch of, not red lights, red flags, there we go. There's a bunch of red flags, but apparently not. MaxPax still mostly blindsided. Top right, inside out, MaxPax, bottom left, Reynor. Similar opener as far as the denial and the hatchery, or Reynor just accepting that it won't be put down. Okay, I was wondering where the probe was. There you are, buddy. Vengitron, thank you for the gifted sub. What else to talk about in the last game is we have 8 Lings on the way? Is he gonna Ling bust him? Oh, he's gonna Ling bust him. That's way too many Lings. I'm on to you. Yeah, he's gonna Ling bust him. Okay, not too much time to talk about the last game then. Haven't seen this one in a little while. MaxPax might be particular to a Twilight Council opening on this map. And that is why Reynor does this, because it's probably one of the more effective builds to go up against. Not impossible for a Twilight Council person to hold this, even if they have very last-second scouting, but it requires some deftness to it. Adept sees a third base go down. Sees 4 Lings. Will not see the production. Is going up to his build order, you know, gateways coming down with the resonating glaives, but doesn't actually realize that there are quite a few Lings on the other side of the map. This Adept, its shade is so limited in vision. Thank you for that patch years ago. And now the trigger has been pulled. You don't necessarily need a lot of Lings to, you know, as soon as speed is done, just go for it, because there's only so much surface area anyways. And you kind of want to go ahead and get that unit down and then hopefully work on some of the bigger structures once your buddies come up here. So even though that is a little bit of like a warning shot, like, oh, 8 Lings without my soccer, let's start the mass building, it's still probably going to work. Warp Gate will finish, surprisingly enough, but critical lack of Warp Gates in this game, only one available on the high ground. Gotta say, the re-wall is working out quite well, and the shield batteries have finished, which is borderline unlimited energy in shields, because they're going to have an overcharge as well. At this point, Reynor could just go into drones, but he's going to go ahead and just use all these Lings, and that makes sense because he knows that there's not going to be a lot of production, so eventually the shield batteries will run out of energy, and there's still only going to be 3 Adepts. That's not that much. And they won't have the energy on the shield batteries because they'll be all used on the healing of the wall. That said, I think this actually is taking too long. Just enough time bought on the Cybernex core. Plus, he did appropriately slap down another wall. Yeah, now we're up to 4 Adepts. Well, 3 Adepts and 2 Zealots, actually. Yeah, okay, we finally got in. Finally got in. Reynor doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down. It's gonna head into the main base, avoid the shield batteries completely. There is 1 Artosis pylon in the main, powering 2 very important gateways and a potential 3rd. But the Adepts trying their best to stop that from going down. Reynor's gonna start clawing his way onto the actual stack defense at the front, maybe open up another opportunity, because again, he's not stopping. He's building more Lings. But I'm afraid I'm afraid this actually might be done. Well, this is a pretty good surround. Zealots and Adepts all going down. Trading fairly effectively, though. Thank goodness for this little wall, this little alleyway with the gateway. Yeah. Reynor has not busted MaxPax here. Dude, that 7x score lasting a good 10 extra seconds than I was giving it credit for, I think was really what made it break it. Wow. Some good crisis management coming out from the Protoss, and now Reynor with the, as I said, quadrupling, perhaps even now quintupling down, is pretty screwed in this game. Yeah. He's now down so far in drones. His only defense against the eventual Adept attack is going to be Lings, which we know aren't going to work so well, and are going to take so much of his larva, too. Oh, yeah, if Reynor had gotten the same amount of damage done, but it stopped Ling building 30 Lings ago, well, I think there's a lot to play around there, but an additional 30 Lings instead of 15 drones, oh, that means a lot. Reynor holds this. It still might not be enough. I'm not even gonna see. I'm gonna be amazed if he holds this, but let's say that he does. It's still not gonna be enough because it's gonna be all at the consequence of not building drones. And yeah, he's not gonna hold. So I love the cheekiness. I love the attempt to go for a 2-base Ling all in. It just was a very good wall and re-wall and 3-wall and 4-wall and 5-wall. MaxPax really had the order of operations down to save his life. Perhaps Reynor should have started chipping away more at the Cybernex core. He kind of let his Lings just attack on the most surface area possible, which is usually good. More surface area, faster kills, right? But the Cybernex core might have been worth actually targeting. Oh well. GG. GG. Is that a good wall, Zigster? Such a little biscuit maker. Pretty good defensive play there for MaxPax. Call me wall packs. Ha! That's a good one. Shit. I'm gonna use that next time. The top right, it is MaxPax. Bottom left, it is Reynor. Like I said, I liked it. The cheeky little Ling all in. It's not even in the back pocket of Zergs anymore. It's like in their little like ankle pocket. It's like tucked into their sock. I don't use it super often. It's kind of even a little bit maybe gross at this point. Like it's not really all that useful. I feel like it hasn't won against a top tier Protoss in a little while, but it's there. And now back to probably just macro games. You know, unfortunately for Zerg, there's not too many all-ins they can really do versus Protoss. There's that one, what we just saw. Proxy hatch isn't going to happen super often, realistically, but apparently it does. And then we're waiting until 3 base, like 55 drones, to really talk about the next all-ins they can do, I guess. I haven't seen someone do an early Ling Roach attack versus Protoss since like a Scarlet Estrella game a year and a half ago. Something like that. It's definitely the one attempt Reynor's gonna do for that. I think so. Maybe Scarlet would actually go for another all-in. But nah, I think Reynor's just like, okay, I tried it. You know, they'll grin and then moves on to just maybe the macro games, which, I mean, he did really well in the first game. Granted, that was less of a super back and forth challenging macro game as much as it was definitely more of like a trump card, like, ah, you activated my trap card. It's not really a trap card though, is it? Nothing happens to act on it. It's more like Reynor got to build up, oh man. Oh no, I don't actually remember the name of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Shit. What is the Yu-Gi-Oh card, dude, that like you need 5 cards to make them? Oh damn, I'm gonna look this up actually. The Forbidden One, apparently. Ooh, that's so sick. I remember actually getting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I thought they were so cool. Anyways. So, it was like the Forbidden One. That was game 1. There's no trap card because MaxPax didn't really fall for anything. Or force Reynor into a position. It's more like Reynor just got to hold on to all 5 cards and make the Forbidden One, just like slap them all down at once. I was really intent on making this Yu-Gi-Oh analogy work. Yu-Gi-Oh was such an easy game, too. I mean, I thought Pokemon's an extremely difficult game, I suppose, but I still thought Yu-Gi-Oh was easier. So MaxPax also notably not going to Twilight Council, but I think that has to do with a little bit more with the maps and just the game plan of a best of than necessarily a consequence of being Ling all-in. The one time he did try it. I mean, he won it after all, so why would you be scared? I think Reynor is challenging a little bit any attempt at a very fast 3rd base with this amount of Lings. It's gonna force MaxPax to actually warp in, then move out. Or have his Oracle stay at home, which would be a bit unideal. So MaxPax is just going to wait for the warp-ins. There you go. And let's see if this Oracle can do more, because that, again, Reynor just kind of got all the cards hidden and then slapped them all down at once, so it's like, can't really blame anything else that happened in that first game. Just like, oh, Spire, shit. And Lings, oh god. But People saying Exodia. I don't know what I googled then. Anyways, what also happened, or didn't happen in that game, was Oracle harassment. The first Oracle flew by a bunch of queens, lost hull health, and then second Oracle was used for the build of stasis traps, I think. Which, again, it didn't matter very much. So this time around, immediately, 8 drones, well, 9 in total go down, and only 1 Adept has died from MaxPax. This is a fantastic start for the Protoss. Although this is less than ideal. They could have been in a much better position and been perfectly fine against that number of Lings, but caught off a little bit out in the open. Was just enough for the Lings to get a good enough surround and depletes the Adept presence, which MaxPax had clearly invested into. That was a good number of Adepts. He wanted to go for an attack. And this could have gone either way, right? The attack could have commenced and then did a lot of damage, I suppose. But alternatively, it could have commenced and then the Lings ran by the third base, gotten the probe damage, take down any shield batteries, killed the Nexus, and that still would have been kind of a weird one. And the Adepts also could have just literally stayed at home and never moved out, but then would have been built to only defend, thus delaying something more impactful like Blink and +1 for perhaps no good reason. But anyways, they were traded out, 4 Adepts and a couple Stalkers, 3 Stalkers. Wow, this is a ragtag group of units. This seems like more like a Terran thing to do, where you have a medevac to evacuate. And this little poke out is going to open up that opportunity like I was talking about for the Lings to run by. So of course there's a consequence for the Zerg player to make this many Lings and then not do anything with them, right? If these don't get those Adepts, if they are denied killing anything at the third base because there's just too many units there, well then that's a big waste of what could have been drones. But so far so good for the Ling production of Reynor. And this was just kind of a weird sniping of Creep Tumor group, which also needs to be really careful because they could also get destroyed by the Lings. All in all, not actually so bad on the third base. Oracles came back to defend. A couple of units that reinforced, though, lost their lives. You know, if Reynor hadn't taken 8 drones earlier on, just right off the bat, I'd like his position better. But he did. So in total, 16 drones have gone down. A bunch of Lings were made instead of drones, so his drone count really is not good. It's gonna get good in one hot second here, but it's not been good for a little while. Reynor is going to be going into Ling Baneling. Infestation pit's coming down already. I can't see him going into Swarm Host. So he's really just going to dive towards Hive. No Hydralisk Den. MaxPax was not really doing a lot of engaging in the first game. So he might be kind of betting on that. Once again, seeing that MaxPax went for a 4th base as well. So it's not a dedicated attack. This time around, though, we do have a noticeable lack of gases. So talked a lot about the lack of 4th gas in the first game. They ended up really mattering. He took these gases pretty quickly afterwards, but now we are literally just on 4 gases. So that's going to give you a certain number of Stalker warp-ins, pretty much fine, but then there's probably going to be a lot of emphasis on the amount of charge lots. And this doesn't seem like a lot right now, but it very quickly becomes quite a bit. Reynor, if he's hoping for as passive of a game as the first one, where the Stalkers, you know, they've got the stasis traps and then they just ran away. That was all like beyond the middle of the map as well. He's not going to find it in this game. Lings do try to find that surround, but a quick blink out takes away the Baneling's power from hitting, I guess, the heart of the Stalkers. And otherwise, they really don't want to just be chasing and running into like 1 or 2 Stalkers on the front line. Very ineffective, that type of usage of Banelings versus Stalkers. It's going to be enough to have MaxPax hold off, but I feel like it really is just going to ramp up from here. And Reynor is already pushed a little bit on his heels. He's going to be in a state of recovery for quite some time. Or MaxPax, he's moving and grooving. This is actually his time to shine. Pretty much as soon as these extra gateways finish, then he's going to be spamming warp-ins left, right, and center. Zell to the left, Zell to the right, Stalkers on the side. And someone going just Ling Baneling Queen, who did not have a particularly great early game, is just not going to work out very well against what MaxPax has planned. Last second splits is going to again mitigate the damage the Banelings can do. The Banelings were really the best line of defense there because so many of the Lings actually went for a run-by, which so far is doing a decent bit of economic damage, but the question is, can MaxPax actually win with the attack straight up? You lose a 4th base, but you win the game. Who the hell cares? And that's exactly what he's trying to do. Stalker's blinking back for the lives. +2 about to finish, giving him a 2-1 upgrade. +2 melee, just shy of finishing for Reynor. Would have been extremely helpful in this battle. Oracles, noticeably running out of juice, can no longer help out, and they sometimes are the big difference maker. Just a little bit extra from this Oracle. Thank you very much. The MaxPax and Stalkers are all battered and bruised, but that hatchery is also battered and bruised. Actually gets taken out. And MaxPax, I think still has more of like a full swing in effect here. Reynor very much was trying to hold on with very, very little. You really need that overwhelming number of Ling Baneling to push something like this back. Need that calming breath that sometimes happens when the Protoss actually has to go all the way back home and recuperate. And that was not allowed to happen here. MaxPax still on 4 bases, still 70 workers. Quickly rebuilt the ones that he lost. And just with unlimited potential for warping in pure Zealots, actually. There's not going to be enough Banelings that Reynor can even produce to combat the number of Zealots. Add on the handful of Stalkers, plus the Oracle still helping out occasionally, and that is game. MaxPax, the 2-1 lead. You guys still talking about Yu-Gi-Oh? Nerds! I can't get on board card games. They don't have the magic that they used to, which wasn't even to do with the card game for me. It was always about the, like, art collection. Now whenever I think of card games and getting into one, I think about the massive amount of money that I have to spend. It's one of those things that I kind of wish I was into, just to have like a really stable, well, stable is a weird word, but to have a hobby that is there and just continues on and on and on. Sometimes I get jealous of Wardy and Roddy and Kalaris open up their little Pokemon packs, getting all excited. And then I think, you know what, I might do that same thing. You know, I absolutely see the adrenaline rush, the dopamine hit from opening those packages. I think that still exists, even though I have no interest in the actual cards anymore. But then I actually see the cards, and I see the art, and I'm actually kind of underwhelmed. Partially because I'm no longer into Pokemon in that way. You know, like a kid who's just, like, obsessed with it. And also because I think it's way too flashy. Like, as an artiste, I don't really appreciate a lot of the card images anymore. One or two I've seen that I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I've told them that too, but especially some of these, you know, the super, super, super special ones. They're bedazzled and they're glittered and they're holographic and they have a slight imperfection and they have the bells and whistles and whatever else that can go with a Pokemon card. They get so excited because it's a rare one. And I look at the card and I'm like, I don't want to frame that. The hell is that? It's like vomit on a screen. Someone just vomited like rainbow sparkles onto this Pokemon. Back in my day, I got an alternative Bulbasaur artwork and I thought it was the cat's pajamas.
Sabbath received. Thank you for appeasing the overmind.
Hot diggity damn. Bulbasaur in a field with like a background. Oh my god. Amazing. I actually don't remember what the OG Pokemon or Bulbasaur card was. I'm trying to think of it. All I can think of is the alternative art. Anyways, bottom right of Moondance up 2-1. It is MaxPax, top left Reynor. Once again, denial on the natural hatchery. And MaxPax going into, well, let's see. Stargate, maybe? Made the Quaker. Thank you for the 3 months. Cat. Overlord's looking in the main base. It's actually going to be a Twilight Council opener. Saw that warp gate start up ASAP. Reynor picked up on that. No reason not to send the Overlord kind of into the main base, though. Just to confirm. If it is a tricky warp gate first, but actually it's a Stargate. And you just depending on purely the Overlord positioning itself, you know, here or here, or wherever, I guess. You'd be wrong. Although in this case, the Lynx had gotten the scout anyways. Might be an opportunity for a soccer to pop out and kill your Overlord, but I think it'd still be worth it. So really, Reynor should know exactly what's going on. He gets 2 probe kills as well. That's a pretty good start for the Zerg. Adepts are denied entry into a more enticing drone-killing area. Farther they are away from the drone line, the less worrisome Adepts are. Although, oh, needs some micro, needs some micro. No, you guys dicked him. What a bunch of dicks. He tried going back. You could have just put the Sport Crawler there, but the Adept was supposed to body block it. So anyways, micro. 2 drones also die. It's tit for tat. It's technically slightly favorable for MaxPax. So Resident Enclave's on the way. This time we're not going to have a Ling bust unsuccessfully try to kill MaxPax. So now it's all about defending, which, you know, pretty much Zergs have gotten really good at perfectly defending this. As far as the technical aspect of it, everyone knows what they should be doing to defend against this. Obviously, execution causes things to go awry all the time, as well as the kind of secret, okay, is it 3-gate or is it 4-gate? Or more, actually, right? Like, that is still up in the air. So players have to still consider that. Humdrum, 4-gate, no real fancy maneuvers with the Adept Shades, and most Zergs are probably going to be fine, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's MaxPax, Adept's control is pretty good. Maybe not on Neeb's level. Yeah. But it's also tricky because it is actually a 6 gates Adept attack, guys. That is a lot more. It is way more dedicated. So, for a certain time, you know that they are dedicating to the Adept attack. They're not going to get a 3rd base. By the time Reynor maybe starts to pick up on, like, why doesn't he have a 3rd base yet? Why is he not trying to get one? The Adepts might already be warped in and already compiled and already battering down the hatches type situation. And with that many warp-ins, you could also start to take on a good number of roaches. So for the Zerg player, they make, you know, a certain number of roaches, kind of give that backbone, but the Lings are really what's there to kind of chase them around and possibly surround them. Well, what if the roaches actually can't even tango with the Adepts? It's a scary thought. So 6 gateways now in effect. This Adept count might not be too revealing yet, but the next warping absolutely will be. Adepts going to the natural, where they kind of... I don't know, this really wasn't the most tantalizing drone line. Although 2 Adepts over in the 3rd base, forced to move. Well, the transfer just goes back. 5 Adepts going to the main base, so that shade actually completed. But again, the drones, they're getting pulled. They're getting pulled every which way, but they are getting pulled, and they're living. Which only, well... It's always when you're like, well, they're living, and then suddenly they're dying. 11 drones still isn't all that bad. What has to be considered, of course, is that you actually had to defend against the Adepts, though, right? So you were at, what, I think it was 39 drones to start with. So any amount of drones, well, probably more like 42, right? Anyways, any amount of drone kills is going to further lower that, and it was already pretty low. So this might not look like a good situation for the Zerg player, and, I mean, realistically, Reynor would have loved to have been able to save, you know, all the drones, of course, but maybe more realistically, let's say 6 of those drones. You do have to consider that MaxPax... Well, it is Moondance, isn't it? Huh. I was gonna say, he's gonna have a tough time getting a third base, but that's right, there's a half base in the back. So that's why this would really work. Yeah, Reynor can't get anything in return. That is a big bummer. At the very least, you'd hope to, threaten to counterattack. But can't even do that, even now losing some creep tumors. Now MaxPax going into disruptors, which is super fun. Super fun and pretty impactful. Gonna be able to deal with any attempt of counterattacking into a natural for sure. I mean, you're just gonna be trying to bust a Protoss. And this much of a choke, yeah, okay, good luck with that. They're also going to be able to take advantage, perhaps, of this Warp Prism. Did we have overload speed on the way? Warp Prism speed? Yes, we did. Because there's a Warp Prism, but also because the observation of the map is limited for Reynor. Overlords are covering a decent part of it, to be fair, but I love it. This is exactly what I was going to bring up. He could just build Stalkers. Start clearing out these Overlords. He's already cleared out the creep tumors, so that's reduced vision and reduced mobility. The Disruptors, maybe they don't get particularly better shots because Reynor is still paying attention to his army and his drones, but they should probably never be anticipated and denied, right? Like, oh, I see him coming from left field. Let me just put all my queens over there. So I like that a lot. And of course, right, the Adept attack can turn into a Disruptor attack, which is exactly what's happening here. Maybe not one that's going to end the game, but one that can cause a lot of problems for Reynor. He has to take this seriously, but he also still has to do some recovery on that economy, so he's once again caught between a rock and a hard place. And in this case, the rock is like coming at him. It's one of those walls from Final Fantasy. Oh my good lord, that was a good Disruptor shot. Still not enough. Remember, all these other units really aren't that intimidating. Adepts, not in high numbers, aren't really fighting units to begin with. And Stalkers without Blink. But that is temporary. Blink is going to finish in 15 seconds. War Prism's still alive. 2 Disruptors still ready to go. All with the knowledge that this Protoss is on 3 bases and probably has the freedom to get to a 4th. Because now, in a flip from the first game, the Zerg is doing absolutely nothing to stop MaxPax. And Reynor is struggling to even get all of his larvae. All those queens having to be pulled every which direction, trying to replace the creep tumor unsuccessfully. Means there wasn't a lot of injects going down. Roaches might not need a lot of larvae, but it would actually be really nice to have more lings here. It would be really nice. Instead, it's roaches, which are so easy for the Stalkers to size up against, blink against, focus fire against. Nothing complicated about these battles. No corrosive bios, no ling surrounds. And of course, the cherry on top, the Disruptors, always threatening that big hit. MaxPax has got this one, guys. Rather dominating performance in today's Open Cup. Just a slip-up in game number 1 where he didn't anticipate the mutas and was playing a kind of passive, greedy build. Now Reynor's supply blocked. Very much just stubbornly refusing to accept defeat at this point. He should know that it's it. Actually, I don't think he killed a Stalker with this Disruptor. Nicely done. GG! MaxPax with a 3-1 victory. As I said, steamrolled through today's Open Cup. Lots of 2-0s, lots of very quick, decisive 2-0s against very, very good players. And then topping it off with a 3-1, of which his 3 victories were pretty good.